Hi everyone, this is Little T. I hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to share a story with you about how men abandon us. Like they leave their wives. My brother in law and my husband, and my sister in law and I, we went to look at houses in the city of Spring Hill in the state of Florida. Real nice community, real nice area. So we went there and there was a house and it was for sale. So we get out of the car to go look at it. And we're walking around slowly and walking around. Beautiful little house. And we wanted to look at the back too. The house was empty, but it was for sale. So we wanted to go look at the backyard, and see, because it had a pool as well. So we went to the back and we're looking and looking. And all of a sudden, we're sitting there looking through the screen porch to look at the pool. It was locked. So you had to get in with a real estate agent. So we wanted to get in to see the pool, but we were just looking. And all of a sudden, I hear my husband go, "Oh, shit." We all looked at him like, "What?" So he goes, "Look that way." So all of us look to the back. The house that we were looking at was pretty far, very far off, with a lot of land, but it didn't have a fence around it. And all of a sudden, we see two huge dogs. And I could not believe it. One looked like it was a Great Dane, and then the other one looked like it was an English Mastiff. And you know how big those dogs are. And my husband, G, says, "Listen, nobody run, okay? Don't anybody run." So my sister-in-law and I and my brother-in-law are looking at him like, "Oh my God," so we don't move, so they don't move. All of a sudden, my husband hauls ass and leaves us all behind to get mauled by these dogs. He starts running like a bat out of hell, and we're like, "Oh my God." And my sister-in-law and I started running. My brother-in-law starts running, and we're like, "Oh," and here they are. They're coming closer. They were like horses, and they're running closer. Now, my husband and my brother-in-law are pretty big guys. So, of course, my husband takes off like a bat out of hell and leaves us all to die. He didn't give a shit about any of us but himself. And then my brother-in-law is like running that way. My sister-in-law and I are running the other way. And you're not going to believe this. One of the dogs start running and chasing after my sister-in-law and I. And the other dog is chasing after my brother-in-law. George was disappeared. He disappeared off the face of the earth. He was completely gone. We couldn't even see him anymore. He took out, like Speedy Gonzales, right? And then my brother-in-law is pretty tall, and he's a big guy. And there was maybe like a 5-foot tree. And we see him trying to climb the freaking tree. He's trying, and he's like, trying to climb the tree. We're running the other way, and the other one's chasing us. And I go sliding, like on first base, like in baseball. I did a skid thing and fall because it was like fall. It was like in October and the leaves were all down. And I go running and I fall. And my poor sister-in-law, she's running too. And then the poor thing, she comes back for me. At least my sister-in-law comes back for me, right? Now, my brother-in-law, we don't know what happened to him. Of course, my husband, we didn't know what happened to him because he was like a bat out of hell. But my sister-in-law came back, and I was like forward down. And all of a sudden, this big, huge dog sits on me. And I turn around and I'm like, "Nice doggy," looking up at his eyes and batting my eye, like, "Nice dog." And he's batting his eyes at me, and he starts licking me. And that was the Great Dane. The English Mastiff went the other way. All of a sudden, we hear a whistle from the owner. I guess he heard all the commotion. He comes, because he must have let them out in the backyard, not thinking that they were going to run. Of course not. They wouldn't have ran if my husband didn't run. Why would they have run? They were in their yard, right? But they see him running, so they thought he was playing a game. But So I turn and I'm like, nice doggy, nice doggy. And then as soon as he whistled, they go running back to their home. And we're like, oh my God. So my sister-in-law helps me. Like, I get up. We're all a mess. Before we got to this house, we were all dressed nice. So, like when we're coming out and then my brother-in-law's coming, he's completely scratched up from the freaking tree, trying to climb the tree. And it's not funny, but I mean, you gotta laugh, right? Because I wanted to just cry. I'm telling you, I had bruises in places that no one could think about having bruises in. I think my pelvic was broken, like my stomach, everything, right? And we're limping and coming back to the car like wounded soldiers. And of course, my husband was sitting there. He couldn't even talk. He had tears coming down his eyes because the moron was laughing so hard at the three of us, right? And my sister-in-law was the only one that came back for me. My brother-in-law, I think he fell down the tree because the tree was too little that he was trying to save himself. So I just want to say, guys, don't trust, especially my husband, to save anyone's life. I'll tell you that. Because he abandoned ship. And he would have abandoned, and that is terrible. To leave us behind. What happened to no person or man or woman left behind? What is wrong with him? Please, can you please tell me? And all he was doing is laughing. He could not stop laughing. Well, guess what? I was so upset and so traumatized, and my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, I don't think any of us said 2 words to him. We were so upset, and all he kept doing is laughing. Can you imagine? Well, that's T's story tonight about my husband, the man that left us all behind to die. But thank God that the master, those little doggies, his owner, trainer, whatever they were, I guess it was the owner, he whistled and they all went running right back to him. Can you imagine? Well, anyway, that's T's story. Peace out. Have a good night.